Hello student. Today we are discussing about the power stages and efficiency in DC generator. So the power is inputted in the form of mechanical power, okay, by using the prime mover. Out of this input power, we observe the two losses. One is iron and another one is a mechanical losses. Okay, so iron loss can be also called as a core losses. After that, the remaining power will be transferred to the rotor, to the stator, in the form of electricity, okay, through the flux Eg into Ia. After that, we observe the copper losses, and then after finally we receive the electrical power output. Okay, so there are two losses here majorly. One is iron plus mechanical, and another one is a copper losses. So these are the efficiency. Today we are discuss how we can achieve the maximum efficiency. What is the condition for the maximum efficiency? Okay, so consider a DC generator supplying a load current IL at a terminal voltage V. Okay, so generator output is equal to V into IL, and generator input is equal to output plus total losses. Okay, so if we put this output in the input equation, then we will get the V into IL plus Ia square Ra plus constant losses. Okay, so and we also know that the armature current have two parts, load current and shunt, if we have a shunt type generator. Okay, so shunt field current Is is very small compared to the IL, so we can neglect this current. So we can write like this: V into IL square Ra plus Wc. Okay, and if we calculate the efficiency, then efficiency is equal to output by input VLI V into IL upon V into IL plus IL square Ra plus Wc. Okay, so if we take out the common this IL V into IL, then we will get this equation. Now differentiate the denominator equation with respect to IL. Okay, so efficiency will be maximum when this denominator will become a minimum. Okay, so if we differentiate with respect to IL, then we will get this result, and finally we receive that the IL square Ra is equal to Wc. It means that if variable losses is equal to constant losses, in that situation we will get the maximum efficiency. Okay, so this is the condition for the maximum efficiency. Now what is the armature reaction and its effect? Armature reaction, it is the effect of electromagnetic flux set up by armature current on the main magnetic flux produced by the field poles. The main flux which is produced by the field poles is useful because this flux creates magnetic field. Okay, so but the interaction of armature flux with the main flux distort and weaken the main flux. Okay, so thus the effect of armature flux on the main flux produced by the field pole is called the armature reaction. Okay, the magnetic field produced by the armature current has two effects. One is it demagnetize or weakens the main flux, and second one, it cross magnetize or distorts the main flux. Okay, now term used in armature reaction: GNA, MNA, and LPD and TPD. Okay, so what is GNA? GNA is geometrical neutral axis. So it is a axis midway between the opposite adjacent field poles and particular to the center lines of the poles. Okay, so this is a GNA. What is magnetic neutral axis? Magnetic neutral axis, MNA, is the axis which is perpendicular to the flux passing through the armature. Okay, so it is also defined as the axis along which no EMF is produced in the armature conductors. Okay, the brushes are placed on the axis, on this axis. Brushes make direct contact with the conductors which lie on this axis. Okay, leading pole tip, LPT, it is the end of pole which first comes in the contact with the armature in the direction of the rotation by the armature conductors. Trailing pole tip, it is the end of the pole which comes in contact later with armature in the direction of rotation. Okay, MNA. Man pole flux distribution on no load. So this is the flux distribution. You can see that this is a MNA coincide with the GNA. Okay, and in this condition, the armature magnetic field, you can see that here the flux is distort. Okay, so in this axis MNA and GNA is not coincident. Okay, so you can clearly see that if the armature is start rotating, our MNA axis is shift from the GNA axis, and due to this we will observe this flux distortion. Okay, so now what is the effect it produce on the DC machine? So it produces a demagnetizing effect of the armature reactions, and hence weakens the main flux. It produces the cross magnetizing effect, and hence distort the uniformity of the main flux. Okay, also it reduce the EMF induced and produce the sparking at the brushes due to the shifting of MNA. Okay, so the armature reaction also reduce the efficiency. Now what is the remedies of these armature reactions? Is the for the neutralizing the demagnetizing effect of armature reaction, an extra number of turns are required, and in order to avoid the sparking at the brushes must be shifted to the new position of the MNA in the direction of rotation of armature. Now demagnetizing and cross magnetizing ampere turns. So demagnetizing ampere turns per pole. What is the demagnetizing ampere per poles? To neutralize the demagnetizing effect of armature reaction, and extra ampere turns are required. Okay, so it will be added to the main field, hence it is essential to calculate the number of extra ampere turns. Okay, the exact number of conductors which produce the demagnetizing effect are shown in figure. You can also see that here. Okay, so here all the calculation are there. Okay, so we have to put some demagnetizing ampere turns in order to demagnetize this armature reaction. Okay, so here you can see the calculations. Z is the total number of conductors, T is the number of turns, is equal to Z by 2. I is the current in each armature conductor. Okay, so now what is cross? Here we see the demagnetizing ampere turns. Now we will going to see the cross magnetizing. Okay, so if effect is cross magnetizing, so we have to add the extra ampere turns to neutralize this cross magnetizing ampere turns. Okay, so this is the calculation for how we can calculate how many number of turns we require in order to demagnetize this. Okay, now coming towards the compensating winding. So what is compensating windings? To neutralize the cross magnetizing effect of armature reaction, auxiliary winding. The calculation we already seen previously is the calculation for how many turns of the winding is required. Okay, so to neutralize the cross magnetizing effect of armature reaction, an auxiliary winding is required, and which is known as a compensating winding. Okay, the compensating winding is placed in a slots made on the main pole faces and is connected in a series with the armature winding. This winding produces MMF in the opposite direction to that produced by the armature current. Okay, so the magnitude of MMF produced by compensating winding is equal to the MMF produced by the number of armature conductors laying under the pole. Okay, so you can see that how compensating winding is connected in the series of the armature. Okay, now commutation and methods to improve commutation. So commutation is the process by which DC voltage output is taken from the armature that has a AC voltage induced in it. Okay, so again commutation is the process by which DC output voltage is taken out from an armature that has a AC voltage inducing it. So which one is a AC voltage? The flux which is inside the machine introduce the EMF, and that EMF is AC, and from commutator we take the DC voltage output. Okay, so EMF generated in the armature conductor of AC machine is alternating in nature, and hence the induced current flow in the one direction when the armature current conductors are moving under the north pole, and in reverse direction when they are moving under the south pole. Okay, so it changes the direction. So commutator is nothing but one type of mechanical rectifier which convert the AC waves into the DC. Okay, so now how we can improve the commutation? Methods to improve commutation. To make the commutation satisfactory, the current flowing through the coil completely reversed during the commutation period attains its full value. Okay, so the following methods are used to improve the commutation. First one is a resistance commutation, second one is a EMF commutation. So in resistance commutation, we will insert the resistance, and where we insert the resistance, the brushes of high contact resistance are used to achieve the sparkless commutation. Carbon brushes make the contact resistance between the commutator segment and brushes high. Okay, so for this reason we use the carbon brushes. Okay, so this is also an answer that why we use the carbon made brushes. Okay, so it provides a high resistance. So if brush contact resistance is high, the reverse current through the coil increase very fast, and which is desirable for the sparkless commutation. Okay, another one is EMF commutation. So in this type of commutation, the reactance voltage produced by the armature coil due to its inductive property is neutralized by producing a reverse EMF in the short circuit coil during the commutation period. Okay, so the reversing voltage can be produced by two ways. First is by brush shifting, and another one is by using the interpoles or commutating poles. Okay, so by brush shifting, by shifting the brush to the new MNA, sparkless communication can be achieved. In this method, the brushes are given sufficient forward lead in the direction of rotation in case of generator. Okay, so by using the by shifting the brush and by using the interpoles, we can reduce the commutation problems, and we can achieve the sparkless commutation. Okay, now last topic, characteristics of DC generator. So there are two type of characteristics. First one is a magnetic or open circuit OCC characteristics, and which is drawn between the EO and IF. EO is a no load generated EMF and IF is a field current. Okay, so if we give the exciting current, and if we note down this no load generated EMF, then we will get this type of graph. Okay, and how we can achieve the OCC, all the details are mentioned here. How you can give the supply to the field winding and then note the EMF generated. Okay, so overall you will get the graph of the EO versus IF. Okay, and the second one is the internal or total, which is drawn between E and IA, and last one is the external characteristics, which is drawn between the V and I. V is a terminal voltage and I is a terminal current, or we can say that the load current. Okay, so this is the end of the topic. We cannot say the end of the chapter because this is the end of the generator only. In this third chapter we have a two portion. Let me show. Okay, we have a part 1 DC generator. So we studied here, we already studied DC generator. Now in the upcoming lecture we will going to see the DC motor. Okay, so if you have any doubt up to this in DC generator or any previous chapter, then you can comment it down, and also follow all the videos in order to get the all the details about the chapter, and also prepare your own notes, so that at the time of exam you have to, you do not have to worry much about the exam. Okay, so prepare your own notes so that you can prepare your answer according to yourself.